So in this instructional video, we're just going to go through Microsoft Word and play with some shortcuts and features that I think will help you move around faster and get jobs and projects completed quicker if you know some of these features. I'm assuming that you'll know some of them, but probably not all of them. And we just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. When you're done with this, you'll be turning it in. Either the teacher will come around and take a look at it on your screen, or he'll have you upload it to Canvas and turn it in that way. Your paper should look similar to what's on the screen. If you wanted to try a different color, you know, if the video shows the color blue and you choose red, that's fine. But the features should be similar to, you should be following along and doing what's on the video. We're going to start off, though, by talking about some vocabulary, so we're all on the same page. Here's a window, and here are some terms that you should know the meaning of. So I'm going to switch over here to Microsoft Word. Here at the top, when I click on the different names up the top, those are each called a tab. So this is the Home tab. This is the Insert tab. This is the Design tab. And they're there, and inside the tab you have different groups of features. So you can see a little box here, and this is called the font group. This is the paragraph group. And then in each grouping, there's a little button in the corner with a little arrow. You might not be able to see it on the video, but you should see it on your screen. That's the More button, where it brings up additional options in that group. The little pictures are called icons, and the things you click on are called buttons. Alright, also you have over here is the scroll bar that allows you to move up and down the paper. In the lower right hand corner, this is zoom. I'm going to just put a little text on our paper here. Just gonna, so we can see what it looks like. And you can zoom in and you can zoom out with the plus and minus. Keep in mind that it's not changing the font size. That's just changing how close or how big something looks. When you print it out, it's still going to be, in this case, an 11 font no matter what you zoom it to. Okay. Here are also different types of views. You can, if we see print layout, which is what we're in now, when you print it out, you should see the margins and the edge of the paper. Right next to it is called Read More. Notice that it takes away the edge, the margins, and the edges. All you see is the text. So you can get more text on the screen. Some people prefer that. Most people, though, prefer the print layout. So go ahead and click on those and see what it looks like. Web layout is what your page would look like if you published it on the internet. Okay. You have rulers. This tells you kind of where, how wide your text area is. So the gray area is the margin. The white area is where you can text. And if you take your mouse and put it right on the edge, you can increase or decrease the margin of your paper. That way. The handles, the little triangles, refer to the paragraph indenting. So the top handle, the little square, is the first line of the paragraph. Then the bottom triangle moves the rest of the paragraph. Okay? So you can play with that. We'll play with that once we put some text on here in a second. I just wanted to go over things. We have word count. So right now we have 2 words on our text. And proofing and looks for errors. So you got some commands down here for spelling and grammar and whatnot. So there you have it. Those are some terms that you need to know. Let's go ahead and put some text on here. So type after me. Type the equal sign. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can see a little easier. Type the equal sign. Then type RAND, open parentheses, 8, 8, close parentheses. There should be no spaces. No spaces. Equal sign, RAND, open parentheses, 8, 8, close parentheses. And then hit just the space bar. Or I'm sorry, hit enter. And when you hit enter, I'm going to zoom back out now. You should see a bunch of text that just appeared. And this is a built-in program that allows you to kind of put some text on the screen. So now that we have that, let's go back and let's look at, put your mouse in the first paragraph and come up and play with the those triangles again. Again, you'll notice the top triangle moves the first line of the paragraph. The bottom triangle moves the rest of the paragraph, and then the rectangle moves both at the same time. You can move on that side, and you can also move on the right side here. You can move the gray. If you put your mouse on the gray, you can notice how the intent goes in and goes out for the margins. The gray area is the margins. So again, right there you got a lot of ways to manipulate and control your data or your text without going into any menus. All right, what we're going to do now is just kind of look at some ways to move around the document. So as I go through these, just kind of follow after me and play with it. All right. So put your mouse anywhere in the middle of the paragraph, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so we can see a little better. If you want to move your insertion point one character to the left or right, you just use the left and right arrow. Go ahead and do that. If you want to move your insertion point up or down a line, you use the up or down arrow, and it moves one line at a time. Okay. Now, if you want to move your insertion point one word at a time, hold down Control and arrow over to the left or the right. And when you hold down Control, you'll notice it jumps an entire word at the same time. Go ahead and take a minute and just kind of play around with this as I go. If you need to pause the video, pause the video. If you want to move your insertion point one paragraph at a time, you again hold down the Control key and then you arrow up and down. And when you arrow up and down, you're moving the insertion point one paragraph at a time. To move the insertion point from wherever it is to the very end of the line, you hit the End key. Now the End key is on your keyboard, and your keyboard is different than mine, so let me see where yours is. So your End key is on the right hand side of your keyboard above the arrow keys. If you look above the arrow, there's a key called END, end. And if you press the End key, it will go to the end of the line, no matter where it is. If right next to the End key is the Home key, H-O-M-E. If you hit the Home key, what happens to the insertion point? Yeah, it goes to the beginning of the line. So End and Home allows you to move to the beginning or end of the line very quickly. To move to the very end of the document, the end of your file, hold down the Control key. When you hold down Control and also hit the End, END key, you'll notice you'll drop all the way to the end of the document. And you've guessed it, I think. If you hold down Control key and hit Home, what do you think happens? Control Home brings the insertion point to the very beginning or top of the page, top of your document. Now on your keyboard, there's also a page up and page down key. It's right in that same area as the Home and End. What happens if you hit page down and page up? Go ahead and try it and see how much you move. Do you move an entire page? No, the answer is no. You don't move an entire page. But what you do move is one screen view. So if you look, your mouse or your insertion point will go down just far enough so the next set of text appears on your screen. And that's kind of how you, some quick ways to move around. Okay, let's put that in your notes. So I'm going to go back to here. You should create a little table or some notes and put this information in your notes. The arrow key moves one character, Control arrow moves one word, the End key moves the end of the line, Home key beginning of the line, Control N moves you to the end of the document, Control Home moves you to the beginning of the document, and then make sure you realize that page up and page down doesn't really move you a page up and page down. It moves one screen at a time. Go ahead and pause the video and make sure you get that in your notes. Okay.